is absolutely no difference between me and others, except in my knowing myself as I am. I am all. I know it for certain, and you do not. In reality, I am neither.
So he's pointing that there's no difference between him and others, other than knowing himself for certain. Yes? The knowing is from direct experience. It's not an intellectual knowing, because you cannot know yourself intellectually, because the mind cannot enter awareness. Awareness knows itself by itself as awareness itself, because it's your innermost experience and it is you as your nature. You can know yourself as pure awareness directly, without an aid of the mind.
Even while the mind is chattering?
Yes, like watch it right now, you sense it, right? Now, even if you pay really attention and you listen without labeling, right now, isn't it that you sense a presence within you?
Absolutely.
And are you aware of being aware?
Yes.
This is knowing yourself directly. And this knowing yourself directly is the entrance to that which is absolute. Yeah? Because that's where the mind, from there on, the mind cannot enter.
It's a path into the absolute.
It's an infinite depth that opens and reveals itself. So it's like not motion, it's a unfolding or depth or revelation, or I do not know, it's indescribable.
So if you wanted to take a metaphor, it's like you're in the forest and there's a path and you know that going through the path you are going there, and as you come through the forest and the trees get thinner and thinner, and finally you come out into the light.
Yeah, except that you don't, here in the analogy, you finally, when you sense right now, immediately, the presence within you, that is the light shining through you, or this is the reflection of the light within you. As you stay with the reflection, that reflection is returning or revealing the source itself. It's like we have the source and then there is a reflection like rays.
You have to follow the light back.
Yes, so as you stay with the light, you don't follow. The light is the sun ray. Is it separate from the sun itself? No. You stay with that and all the rest reveals by itself. So that's the gateway. That's the doorway. And the experience is very peaceful. There is a presence which is like a magnet. And the more you stay with that presence, it weakens all that appeared to be you as false identification, melts away. That means there's more presence, more power, more peace, more indefinable bliss. And the more you stay with that, all the rest unfolds by itself. And the established in the knowingness is being established.
This is what they call established.
Being established in yourself.
That means you're permanently there.
That means that you start to fix the attention on yourself.
On that
You
which
cannot
is-
say that it is permanent unless your only experiences of that. And even then, the word permanent would not apply. because even permanent is just from the mind perspective to discriminate that which is not permanent. Right? Awareness doesn't have this even notion of permanent because it is timeless being.
But, so if we go back and listen to what we just heard, and he presents and he says, the difference between you and me, I know who I am.
Yes.
And that's how I was using the word permanent.
Yeah. So
That cannot be taken away.
means the more you know yourself as the self, this pure absolute awareness, then the knowing is being established.
It's the word established is
Key.
key here.
Yeah. This is where being established or abiding or however name you want to, or your attention is resting within yourself. The more the attention is fixed on you, then the knowingness that you is you as nameless, formless being, that's when you know for certain yourself, and you don't mistake the notion of being a person or somebody to be yourself. So you cannot establish the knowing intellectually, mentally. You cannot be established in the knowing of yourself from a mental understanding. Oh, I understand that this is who I am. No, knowing who you are has nothing to do of understanding. It is an experience. And in that experience, there is the knowing of yourself. So when people talk about they know themselves and it's intellectual, you almost feel that it is intellectual. When someone knows themselves, they don't need even to tell that they know themselves. Anybody who is sensitive enough, they would start to know themselves being around this being, because that's what radiates from that particular being. It's the knowing of himself. Do you understand that?
It's an experience. So
Yes.
I cannot say anything other than that. What I would say for most people, most of us that don't know that yet, is that quite a few of us have traveled to India, to other places. It's no longer necessarily India and all that. We sometimes can get lost intellectually with a speaker who stands or sits on the podium and talks, and his words are very influential, and very let's say even beautiful, poetically, and all that. And all of a sudden, we look at that person, and they become more than just what we see. We have a feeling that this person is awakened.
Okay. So the way what I recognize, like if somebody is speaking from themselves, from the presence of awareness, which is prior to any thought, if you follow the words would leave you as yourself. So I can never know the other. All I'm using is the words. Using the words to where they point to. When they disappear and I'm left as presence, thoughtless, then That's what's essential.
So it's not necessarily feeling good about being around somebody and they say, I feel good when I'm around this person.
That can help. That can help.
But it'd be a projection, wouldn't it?
A lot of the times it would be, or it just still clearing something in their mind, which is helpful. So I say everything is helpful if there is enough intelligence within you to discriminate. So I can be with a rock, and the rock has a lot of teachings to reveal within me. If I am open to be awakened from anything I perceive, from any experience, from anything that is coming and is revealing within. So if I turn every situation for awakening, I make use of everything to bring the mind back to who I am.
As you speak, what comes up to the mind itself is that without a person being with a person who is awake or awakened or with the knowledge, is it possible to have the experience?
For some, yes. Some people had spontaneous experiences. There's all kind, everything is possible. I cannot know for anybody else. I read for other people that they had the experience. I can only share that I was exposed to knowledge, and through the knowledge was exposed to different words and beings that brought the mind back to who I am. And then there is the realization. The realizer realizes itself.
So the knowledge penetrated all obstacles, all barriers, or all walls within oneself to awaken. Because we have barriers.
No. It's the yearning and the intense desire within.
But a lot of these people, like, I won't mention any names and all that, their awakening happened under some very strenuous mental difficulties.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Spontaneous.
And then
they went on their journey to search for the knowledge.
or they went within to remove what was not themselves.
Okay.
So they had
an urge.
They had an
Go
urge.
inward.
Yes. So they had an urge that was undoubtedly they realized that's all they want is this. So I think it's knowledge without this intense desire is just empty words.